And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia and the livestock.
Look at the algebraic expression.
And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia.
Look at the
Good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon, class. My name is Chair Webster, and I'm here to present you the lesson in geography, of course, under social studies, grade 9 view. Well, learners, in today's lesson, we shall focus on the definition of what an industry is. We shall also talk about the importance of industries, and we shall talk about types of industries, as well as factors that affect the location of industries. Now, we cannot just go in details without, first of all, defining what an industry is. So now, viewers, what is an industry? That is the question at hand. All right, an industry is any activity that people do in order to earn a living. Examples of what industries. All right, let me put these in writing. Industry. An industry okay, manufacturing, goods. Another example, trade. And the last example for this one, we shall say farming. There are a lot of examples, but due to time limitation, we cannot proceed giving examples. Having defined what an industry is, let us now go for the second one, which we said we shall go for. We go for the importance of.
Good afternoon, class.
provide people with income. Now, when we talk of income, we're talking of gain foreign exchange through exports. Example given here in Zambia, let's talk about copper bars. When you sell them to other countries, then the country is given money in exchange for that. So in doing that, the industries are doing something which is prominent for the nation of Zambia. Then number 10, a country. Number 4, paying of taxes. Are you with me? Then doing trades. Industries are a basis for other industries. Example, we can talk of food processing industries. Then we can also talk about hydroelectric production or power stations. Okay? Then we have got number 6. The industries attract about, when we talk about the infrastructure development, we can talk about the road construction, we can talk about the building of houses, healthy facilities, schools, and many more. Now, let me go back to this number 6. It's a very big thing that I should explain so that people must understand there, especially you learners, because the essence of this lesson is for you to understand. Now, when I say they attract other industries, leading to concentration of industries called agglomeration economies. Now, when we talk about agglomeration economies, we are trying to say industry inertia. Now, that's where I can now give you other examples like I gave you earlier. So I can say, for example, the mining industry on the copper belt has attracted a lot of other types of industries, which include tertiary industries and many more. Are you with me? This means if mining industry is operating here, there should be another industry nearby which should help provide electricity to the mining company so that the affairs at the mining industry will continue, or the operations of the mine should continue. So in short, this mine industry or mining industry and this other industry, like for example, electrical company production there, they should work together in order for them both to keep running. That's what I meant by number 6. Then the last point or factor or importance of having industries is that industries, they lead to infrastructure development, just like I said there. I gave a practical example of roads. When you talk about infrastructure development, you can talk about houses, hospitals, just like those I gave. Now, having said this, let me now write them so that you can understand. So number 1, move together. They provide employment to people. Hope and trust you've understood. Employment to people who work. E.g. as machine operators. Machine operators. Okay. Go to number 2. They provide people and or let me say the aim. The aim. Exchange. Through export. Right, export. Now, exports of what? G, copper wires. So you sell copper wires or copper bars. Okay? Number 4, please follow me so that we do not miss each other's points. Then the country. A lot of revenue. Talking about money through taxes and trade. Number 5, they are the basics of other industries. Other what? Industries. E.g., this means examples: food processing. Is a common here. Hydro, HPP, hydropower production. H for hydro, P for electric, P for power, then for that. One just following each other. Number 6, right? Number 6. They attract other investors. Right? Example given there when I say they attract other industries, leading to what? They attract other industries, leading to industries called agglomeration. So they lead to concentration. So I've given you this one, please be careful when you are learning there. I said, if this is an industry called mining industry, for it to operate, there should be another industry. For example, that industry which produces or provides electricity. Meaning that the company which provides electricity should be giving that electricity to the mining industry in order for the two of them to work on the electricity provided by that company. Okay? Power utility company. So this statement is actually or is connected to that idea. Altogether, so leading to concentration. Concentration of industries. So when you say what you know the concentration of industries, here in order. So ports, agglomeration. Agglomeration. I think you are following me, and this is very good. Okay, now what is the other thing connected to this? When we say agglomeration economies, there So now if we say e.g. 9, industry, and big enough things for you to see. Copper belt, all of this is really real. As they are attracted, has attracted a lot of other industries. Including Asia. Including Asia industries. I hope you trust we are following each other. The last point, I'll get it from you. I hope you trust you've seen the definitions, the importance you've written from where I'm erasing. Now let's go for the last part of the importance, under the importance of industries. And I hope you are enjoying your lesson. Now, the second one says to infrastructure development. E.g. houses, roads. I can say shopping malls. Examples, you can give practical examples. Let us from my head. etc. There are a lot of things that you see, regions and other things. Now, you see, obviously where there is work, people must be there. And for people to be at a place, there should be development. So when people are living, for example, here in Lusaka, due to availability of works and other things that attract people to dwell in certain places, there should be development. Okay? Access to development is supposed to be there. So we have to know about this. Let me now go to this types of industries that we have in general. Okay, so this is the B part of the lesson. Types of who? Industries. Types of industries. Okay. Now, I will be explaining, then after explaining, then I write. The first type of industries that we have is primary. Now, what kind of industry is a primary industry? Well, primary industry, this is an industry which takes, okay, it takes raw materials, in fact, natural raw materials, okay, or should I say natural resources. It takes natural resources. Are you with me? When it takes natural resources, then it has to turn them. Turn them how? Into food and raw materials. So any industry that takes natural resources and turn them into food and the raw materials, are you together with me? Is what we refer to as a primary industry. I will write this one without wasting time. So, primary, I'll write with this, primary industry. Primary industry. Okay. It takes natural things made by God, that's what we need, not created by man. Natural resources, There are two practical examples under that one. Don't worry. Let me erase this part so they are following each other. Any industry that takes natural resources, take them into food or raw materials is what we refer to as a primary industry. Now, examples that are given there are things that we can see. We talk about farming and fishing. So, e.g., farming and fishing. It could be this as an example. It could also be this. There are so many different examples, but I just want to talk about two today. Okay? That's all. When you speak like this, you have spoken something which is sensible. Number two, let us go to what is called secondary industries. Now, a secondary industry, this is an industry that takes raw materials and change them into finished products. Any industry that takes raw materials and change them into finished products is what we call a secondary industry. Now, under this one, I shall give you two practical examples of industries that fall under secondary industries. Number one, manufacturing industries. Examples under manufacturing industries, I shall talk about a textile. Textile, in Zambia, for example, we have Mungushi textile in Kabe, and we also have Kafio textile. But my worry is, or I wonder if they are still in operation. But these are examples that I used to know which are practical. In case they are existing, but a textile is a place where clothes are manufactured from. I hope and trust you are following me. Then, another practical example of manufacturing industries here, I can talk about cement, okay? Making, Chilanga cement, there, you know, the processing industry. Processing industries, these are kind of things, the milling, the sugarcane crushing, these they fall under secondary industries. So, number two. Secondary industry. Takes raw materials. Okay. Into finished products. Into one. Manufacturing industries in four animals. You have already reached the B. Okay. The last part of industries for today is tertiary or service industries. Now, a tertiary or service industry is something that you know about very well, especially in the community or townships where we are found. We talk about banking, a without transport, taking people and goods from one destination to another destination. That's what we refer to as transport. Now, these are which provides service to the people in the community. Okay? Another example can be even in school. Same example. a bakery, a press media, information on the newspaper there. Those things, they provide us with what? Direct service that we need. Okay, so the third part is tertiary. So the other name for tertiary industry is service industry. Never be lost when you hear of the word tertiary. Then just refer to it as service, it's just the same. Okay? Because many people will say, but why it's the same name? Industry. This provides service to the people in the community. Even insurance, it's an example. You can give a lot. There's just a lot, but just use one. This is near you. You can remember whatever you can remember. That's what I mean by being near you. There are a lot. Okay. Community. Okay, I think the last part. There's this part. That. I think the last part for today is the one I'm going to write. The example from here, you connect this side. G, banking, okay, bakery, transport. Whereas, what examples you can give with that? I think having said all this, for the factors, we shall continue the next time that I come to present the lesson. For now, and after now, enjoy watching the next presentation. Bye bye for now. Take care. Wish you the best.
In Zambia and the livestock.
Look at the algebraic expression.
Good afternoon, class. And these are examples of crops that we grow in Zambia and the livestock.
Look at the algebraic expression.
Good afternoon, class. And these are
for the equation of the straight line. So we have y is equal to mx plus c. So this is the equation of the straight line. Okay, now it is important for you to know which one is the subject of the formula and how you can notice the subject of the formula. Okay, when you look at this which we have y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, now the subject of the formula is the variable which is being worked out. The variable which is being worked out. When you look at this formula which we have y is equal to mx plus c. So in this case, y is the subject of the formula. Okay, so here y is just a letter which is on its own on the other side of the equal sign. So you have this equal sign, and this side you have mx plus c, then the other side you have y. So y is the subject of the formula. Okay, Let's use the same and see example to say equation which we have y is equal to mx plus c. So we want this c to come at this position where y is, okay, and the y will be the other side. So what you are going to do here, you look at the formula which you have. So this side where there is c, you have this mx, and this other side you have this y. So you want to make this c the subject of the formula. So what we are going to do is we are supposed to use the additive inverse of mx. Okay, so here we have y is equal to mx plus c. So for us to leave this c alone here, we have to use the additive inverse of mx. So the additive inverse of mx is minus mx. So what you do this side, we should do the same the other side. So here you are going to have y minus mx. Okay, so here we can put this mx and the other mx in this form, then you are going to have plus c, and this side we have y minus mx. Okay, so mx minus mx, the result is 0. So this side you are going to remain with only c. So here y is minus mx is equal to c. So this c now is the subject of the formula, or you can rewrite this equation to say c is equal to y minus m then x. So at this stage now you have made the c the subject of the formula. So we are going to be using the same method in expressing some variables as the subject of the formula. So let's look at some more examples on how we can express some variables as the subject of the formula. So here, make the letter in the brackets as the subject of the formula. So A, we have V is equal to M, then U squared over GR. So here we make U the subject of the formula. Then in B we have V is equal to U plus AT. Here we make A the subject of the formula is equal to A plus B. So here we make X the subject of the formula. So let's look at these three examples and see how we can make the variables which we have in the brackets as the subject of. Start with the first one. In the first one we are saying that V is equal to M U squared over GR. Okay, so what you want to make the subject of the formula here is you are supposed to use the multiplicative inverse so that you deal with this GR. So what you have to do here, you have V is equal to M U and also the other side GR multiplied by V, then is equal to M U squared over GR then multiplied by GR. So this side you can squared. So this side you have M U squared, and this side you can multiply this. You are going to have formula is the letter U. After you do this, you are going to have this side, so this m will get rid of this m. So this side you are going to have u squared. So it is equal to, this side you have grv, so multiplied by 1 over m, it will be grv over m. So this, we can write this, we can start with u squared, then we can say is equal to grv over m. Okay, now when you look at this, you have the letter u. Now this u has been squared, so you should not have the subject of the formula which is squared. You should just get the u. Okay, so what you have to do here is that since you have the square on this u, you are supposed to introduce the square root so that you get rid of the square. So introduce a square root to this side and also the other side. So here you are going to have u squared, then you introduce a side grv over m. Okay, so when you have a square root and what you have inside is equal to, then this side you have grv over m. Okay, when you express u or negative, meaning that to positive or negative, we have expressed u. Example b, where we are going to express, so here for b is a as the subject of the formula. So in short, you are saying that we make a the subject of the formula. So what you are going to do is, you look at this equation which you have. So v is equal to u. So what you are going to do is, you have this u and you also have t. Now let's do it. So what you are going to do is, we'll say v is, we'll say minus u, then plus, the other side we should use the same. So this side where there is v, we'll say v minus, so this side we are going to have v minus u, which is equal to a, then t. So this side you can see that there is no u but t. Now how can we get rid of this t? So we are supposed also to use t. Okay, so what we do the other side, you should do also the same t. Okay, so this side, when we say a t times 1 over, okay, so since the denominator is t and for the numerator you have t, so this t and this t will go and we are going to remain with only a. And this side, so this v minus u, so we can say the denominator is 1. And we are saying that 1 over t times v minus u over the denominators. So here it should be 1. So for the numerators, 1 multiplied by v minus u is just, it will give you t. And this side you have a. So you can see that this side we have letter a. So since the letter a is just on its own, meaning that the letter a is the subject of the formula, or we can rewrite this and say, so a is the subject of the formula. Okay, let's move x the subject of the formula. We make x the subject of the formula. So we have x, then a minus xb is equal to a. Work out this. Okay, so for the, which terms have got x? So you can see that here you have x. We are going to do here is that we are supposed to factorize, and the other variables will be from this term x which you have. You have x b. So which term or which x? So meaning that the x is the one which is going to be our have b, and this a, it will give back x b. Okay, now since what we want multiply side, we should do the same this side. So we'll say we use the multiplicative inverse, where we'll say 1b multiplied. Here we have x multiplied by a minus then times 1. So for the numerator we are going to have x then a minus denominators, we have denominator. So the other side, what we have is a plus b. So b, we can say this is minus b. So this will give us a minus b. Now the denominator has got a minus b. So meaning that we can divide here the other a minus b, which is 1 time. And we are going to remain with only x this side. Okay, then let's look at the other side. Here you look at the signs which you have. Here you have a positive, which is a plus sign, and here you have a minus sign. So this a minus b, a plus b over a, the subject of the formula. So what is important is just to understand or to see which variable is going to be the subject. So for this part in b, we were making a the subject of the formula. So meaning that this t and u should be the other side, so that you just remain with a. And in the example which we are from looking at, this side you have, since what you want to express or what you want to make the subject of the formula is the letter x, the other side, so that you just remain with x alone. So this is the procedure which you have to take when example. Then I'll give you an activity to express h in terms of a n r in the following: pi r squared then h. And the r is h. So in terms of a and the r, what we are saying is make h the subject of. Here we are saying that you have a is equal to pi r squared then h. So make h the subject of the formula. So how can you make this h the subject of the formula? So here we'll say that h. Okay, so you look at the side where there is h. So to this side where there is h, you have this pi, then you have the r squared. So meaning that you have to transfer this the other side. Now how are you going to do this? You should use the multiplicative inverse of this. So we'll say multiplied by 1 over the pi r squared. So what we do this side, we should do the same, squared. So this side we have pi r squared h, which is this one. So multiplied by, this is just simply as over 1. So we'll say 1 multiplied by pi r squared. So for the multiplied by a, so meaning that the numerator we are going to have a, then for the denominator we'll say pi r squared. So this a, we can just say that is just the same as over 1, since we know that any number when we say over 1, it will just give you back the same number which you have. So this side, so you look at this side, here you have pi r squared and the denominator pi r squared. So meaning that you can divide here. So pi r squared, the other side you look at what you have. So here you just have a and the pi r squared. So you don't have common variables on the numerator and the denominator. So what you do is here you have 1 times h and the denominator is 1. So meaning that this side you only have h. So it's equal to a over pi r squared. So meaning that at this stage you have expressed h in terms of the a and the variable which is r. Or you can write this and start with h and you say h is equal to pi r, this will be a over pi r squared. So this is now h is equal to a over pi r squared. So we have expressed h in terms of a and r, or we have made h the subject of the formula. Okay, so having looked at these examples, let me just give you some work to do so that you can post the answers in the WhatsApp groups. The letter in the brackets as the subject of the formula. You have P is equal to half, then A plus B, then H. Here make A the subject of the formula. Then we have B, you have the subject of the formula. T, so in here you make T the subject of the formula, then you have D, then we have V is equal to the subject of the formula. So you have this formula, so make A the subject of the formula. So you have this A, so make the A to be the subject of the formula. In B, you have to make the R. So here, you should not have R squared. Then for C, you have V is equal to U plus A T. So make this T the subject of the formula. Then in D, you have T as the subject of the formula. Then in E, you have V is equal